5, 6, 7, 8.
Hi everyone, I'm Dad.
I'm Dada.
And we are
Dad and Dada Formula One duo.
Alright, so this weekend there was a race in
Austria.
Okay, there was a sprint race and there was a Grand Prix. Sprint race, you want to recap that really quick?
The person who got first place was Max Verstappen, obviously.
Okay.
Then it was Oscar Piastri. Then it was Lando Norris who got there.
Okay, perfect. That's a good recap. Okay, then we move on to the Grand Prix. Okay, so Max started on pole. Lando was in second. Before we talk about the Max and Lando fight, anything interesting happened in between, like at the beginning? You remember that something happened between Oscar and Charles?
Oh, Oscar and Charles. So Oscar hit Charles in the wheel. So Charles got mad after the race.
He probably did get mad, yeah.
Yeah.
So then Charles, so his nose, right? So the front of the car, right? You want to show him the nose?
So this is the nose.
That nose, right, with the front wing. So that got damaged for Charles, and he had to go back into the pits right at the beginning. And he ended up going all the way to the very back of the grid, and he was really mad about that. Okay, so then that happened, and then let's fast forward a little bit. You want to talk about the Alpine drivers?
The Alpine drivers, wait, I forgot their names. Oh my god. Pierre Gasly. And Esteban Ocon. Were fighting against each other for their spots.
Yep. So they were fighting against each other, which is kind of weird, right? That the teammates would fight with each other. But remember, Esteban Ocon, he didn't get his contract renewed, and he got told this was your last year at Alpine. And Pierre Gasly got his contract renewed, so he's staying. So it's kind of weird, right? That
he was kind of mad that he got his renewed.
Yep. So they were kind of fighting for positions. So that was really entertaining for a little while. So now let's talk about Max and Lando. Okay, so Max was in first. Lando was in second for the majority of the race, right? So then what happened?
Okay, so Max had to take a pit stop. But they were like the slowest people in the world.
They were pretty slow. You remember how long it took?
6.5 seconds.
It took 6.5 seconds, right, to get him going.
And then they had to change it with old wheels because Lando was already finishing and he had new wheels. So then Lando started getting ahead of Max and kind of like cut him off at the end of the race, kind of like at the edge of the race. And then and Max still didn't give up his position. So then Lando had to retire from the race.
Right. So Max had a really long pit stop. So then that gave Lando a chance to catch up after his pit stop. And they were really close. So they started getting under 1 second. And then since Lando was on brand new tires and Max was on old tires, Lando was catching up really, really fast, right? So then, so on one of the turns, Lando went around Max, right? Or he got in front of Max. And Max kept saying, you know what they call it? Dive bombing. You know what that means? No, it means where the car in the front is wanting to turn and the car in the back just doesn't follow the same line, and he just kind of cuts him off. Yeah, so he gets right in front of him, but that's a legal thing, right? So they can actually do that. So then what ended up happening is on one of those attempts, Lando went outside of the racetrack, right outside of the lines, and he gained an advantage. So he had to give the position back to Max, which he did. But then later on, Max actually did the exact same thing, that he went outside.
But he didn't give up his position.
And he didn't give back the position. So then they kept fighting. And then finally, Lando retired. So Lando went around Max. And Max kept kind of going back and forth to try to stop Lando from going around him. And on one of those tries, Max and Lando bumped each other. And when they hit each other, they made damage. Yeah,
they made a little bit of damage, I think.
So for Lando, it was here in the front and one of his tires, and then for Max, it was here in the back, his left rear tire. and Lando was his front right tire, and he had some damage. So then Max was able to make it back into the pits, and he was able to get new tires, and he was able to keep going. Lando
had to retire though.
He had to retire from the race. But then do you remember what happened? Since they were fighting with each other and they both had damage, do you remember what happened?
Oh yes. So Russell, when Max, I guess he was like going into the pit stop, I would say.
Sure.
Russell got ahead because he was in third place at that point.
He was in third, yeah.
So he got ahead, and then he finished the race with first place that I didn't see coming, so I'm guessing no one else did.
So that was only the second time that George Russell has ever gotten first place. Did you know that?
It's sad, but yes.
So he got first place, Oscar got second, and Carlos Sainz got third, right? So all that happened, but then you know what also happened? So did you know that Max and Lando are actually friends outside of Formula One? And now they're both really sad, and Lando's even more sad that happened. And they've been asked a lot about like what's going to happen to their friendship, and we'll see. We'll see what happens if they still remain friends, because neither of them wants to take responsibility for what happened. Which, to be honest, I'm on Team Lando, as you can see, and I think you're on Team Max wearing a Red Bull shirt, but I'll forgive you. But I'm on Team Lando, and I think that Max was actually at fault for creating that situation.
Actually, no, I'm not wearing. I would wear Max.
That's true.
But I'm wearing Checo because he hasn't had any winning races these past few weeks.
That's true. He hasn't done very well these past few weeks, but hopefully he'll turn around. We're rooting for you, Checo. Love you, Checo.
Come on, let's do this.
That's right. So we'll see what happens. Then there's another race coming up this weekend, right? Which is in Silverstone. So it's in the United Kingdom, right, in England. And
I didn't have to be so far away.
I know, right? It'd be nice if they were close and we could go.
There's in Austin, but that's still super far away. That's totally not like 80 million hours away.
Right. So we'll see what happens this weekend then with that race in Silverstone, because right now everyone is very heated. It's a very heated issue that's going on with Max and with Lando. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited about it. Are you excited?
I don't want them to break up their friendship.
True.
So I don't know if I'm excited.
Okay. Well, I'm excited to see the next race. But anyways.
Okay.
Well, that's our summary. That's our recap for the Austrian Grand Prix. Daughter, anything you want to say before we leave?
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we're going to let Prix say the rest.
Okay. Which means?
And speak to those notifications. You already said it.
All right. All right, everyone. Thank you for watching. Bye.